Thank you very much for coming tonight. Welcome to Estrella Mountain Community College. What we're doing tonight is we are going to be showcasing the work that our storytelling students have been doing all semester long. Every performer tonight that's going to be on the stage is a student in one of our storytelling classes. And we examine lots of different kinds of genres. And we're looking at folk tales, we're looking at myths and legends, and we're looking at personal stories. And so you're going to get to hear stories that combine all stories from each of those different genres tonight. And enjoy the show. Thank you very much for coming again.
Hello. I don't know if I'm supposed to introduce myself, but I'm Mario, and I'm part of George's class. And so I'm going to tell you the story of how I lost my virginity. No, I'm just kidding. I'm still a virgin. So this story actually takes place back when I was stationed in Mountain Home Air Force Base. For those of you that don't know where Mountain Home is at, it's like in Idaho, in the middle of nowhere. And it took place on Thursday. I distinctly remember Thursday because every Thursday we would play indoor soccer. And it was my friend Mojica and I. And as tradition, once we were done playing soccer, we would head downtown and we would get a shake from this place called Grindy's. Best shake. Their food sucked, but their shakes were really good. So, I was gulping down on this Mississippi mud pie. It was amazing. We were contemplating what we were gonna do because we had a 4-day weekend. And, we were just messing around. And of course, me being me, I suggested, hey, why don't we go to California? And I mean, if you guys know anything about the geography, Idaho is up here, and we're both from SoCal, so it's like way down here. So, for all the deliberation that we had, we asked the waiter, of course, we're like, hey, do you think going to California is a good idea? The waiter was like, sounds like fun, but I wouldn't advise it. So then, of course, we left it in the hands of a coin. So I pull out a coin. And I was like, okay, heads we go, tails we don't. So I go, tails, tails, tails. I look at Mojica, we're going to California. So we hop on this car, we drive on base, and we pack a bag really fast. And then we stop by the shopette. For those of you that don't know what a shopette is, it's pretty much a 7-Eleven on base. So, we get energy drinks, we get chips, and we're like, all right, let's go. So we're driving, and I'm a guy that believes in signs, so I was just like, I told him, dude, if we see something we don't like, we're just gonna head back. So we're driving, and then, I was like, we should call someone. So he's like, all right, I'll call my supervisor. So he calls his supervisor, and he was like, hey, hypothetically, what happens if I decide to go to, Utah? He's like, well, that's okay because it's in the 500-mile radius, or the 8-hour drive, So then he's like, what if we go to California, hypothetically? And he's like, well, hypothetically, you need to be on leave. So he was like, well, but if, you're back to work on Tuesday, then no one would know the wiser. So we're like, all right, cool, thanks. So we're driving, listening to music, and Mojica was always the guy that had like a souped up car. We're watching, what's that dude's name? Kevin Hart, and we're laughing, it's great, and then we're in Utah. And in and out, I've been sleeping, 10 minutes here, 20 minutes here, trying to be the best wingman that I can be, And so, I take a good nap, I wake up, and then I'm like, oh my goodness. I look at the windshield, and it's just pouring down snow. I was like, oh, dude, is this a bad sign? Nah, we'll keep going. If something worse happens, we'll stop, And then this is pretty bad. It looked like the Starship Enterprise, you're just at warp speed, and the snow's just hitting you, and you're just like, oh, dude. So we keep going, right? And we're driving, and then, 7-8 hours into the trip, he needs to rest, and I'm like, all right, cool, take a pit stop, and he's like, dude, I think we should take a break, nap or something. And I was like, forget that, bro, I got this. So he's like, all right, cool. So I get on the car, you know, it's whatever. I'm driving this little TC turbo, and you know, going really fast. So I'm driving, right? And we're out of the snow, and it's like an open road, you know, like nobody in miles. So I'm going 80, 90, 100. Slow down. 80, 90, 100. And every time I saw lights, I would like slam the brakes, like that would help, you know? If they wanted to catch you, they're gonna catch you. So, you know, I see it, 10, 11, 12 cars go by. On the 13th car, I'm like, it's nobody, it's not a big deal. So I keep driving, you know, 100 or whatever. And then I see lights. I see blue, red, and white, like 50 yards down. And of course me, I'm like, probably, it's not for me, it's probably somebody else, you know? And then he turns around. I'm like, oh my goodness. I slam the brake, I pull the e-brake out. I'm like, Mojica, wake up. And he's like, what, dude, what? It's like, the cops, bro, the cops. And he's like, what, man? I was speeding. He's like, it's okay, dude, it's all right. I'm like, no, dude, I don't have my license. He's like, oh shit. So I started like thinking worst case scenario, dude, they're gonna impound your car, we're gonna go to jail, you're gonna get like a huge fine. And then I was like, dude, I don't know what we're gonna do. He's like, and so I'm like, we gotta switch seats. He's like, no, dude, no. I was like, no, I'm not going to jail, we gotta switch seats. So I unbuckle my belt, I'm going under, he's going over. Right as he's going over, his head hits the dome light. Boom, the car's illuminated. I'm like, oh my goodness, we're done, dude, we're done. We're going to jail, bro. We're going to jail. So I was praying to God that the limo tent that he spent so much money on actually worked. So the officer comes, he knocks on the door and he tells him, hey, can you pull over? You're not like completely out of the street, you know? Of course. So he pulls over, and he's like, do you know why I stopped you? He's like, I honestly don't know why I stopped you. So then he tells him, it's like, I got you going 97 miles an hour. 97 miles an hour? Mario, did you know we were going 97 miles an hour? I was like, nah, dude, I was sleeping, bro. So then the officer walks back. He sees that it says U.S. Air Force on the back of his car, and you know, we gave him the spiel about what we were doing and how we were so excited about going to California. So then he's like, you know, I'm gonna bring down the ticket, you know, it's just gonna be a simple ticket, nothing crazy, you know, but keep it under 85. So then, you know, we drove, we went to Los Angeles, and I never got to drive his car again. Yeah. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Elijah, and I guess I have a ghost story for you guys tonight. Now, I can't tell you if this story's true because I wasn't there to witness it, but I can tell you the ending's true because I've seen that with my own eyes. Our story ends with an unnamed grave marked only by a cross made out of horseshoes surrounded by 11 white stones. Now, our story starts in the shadow of the Estrella Mountains. It's the year of our Lord 1882. The wars against the Plains nations have finally hit their conclusion, and sprawling metropolises have replaced the dust towns of old. We find ourselves the very last cattle drive headed west. The cowboy troops following along the Gila River towards California. Late one evening, they send 2 scouts further west to secure water and passage for the herd and the rest of the cowboys. About 30 miles west in the foothills of the Buckeye Mountains, the older cowboy says to the other, we need to find shelter for the night. His intuition turned out to be correct as an unholy dust storm rolled in hours later. Now, as the powerful wind and the stinging sand is beating against the cowboys, they decide to seek shelter underneath a rock, beneath a lone tree in a riverbed. Now, as they sit there, they know this storm can't last forever. The next day, the sand is still as hot, the wind is still as powerful. Later that evening, they run out of their food. and the next day they run out of their water. Finally, the first horse succumbs to exhaustion and dehydration and dies and is quickly consumed by the sand. The next day, the second horse is consumed by the sand. And before they can even bring the horse back under the shelter, it is taken. 2 more days goes on, exhausted and scared. They know that they are going to die in the dust storm until it lets up and their friends can come and get them. Later that same evening, the sound stops. They no longer hear the wind. They can feel the stinging of the sand on their face. They can feel the heat in their throats. They can see the wind pushing against their shelter, but there's no sound. They look over in the distance, and glistening in the sunlight, they see a white horse crest over the sand hill. Followed by that white horse, there are 11 more, a total of 12 horses with 11 riders. From the top of their hats to the bottom of their shoes, pure glistening white. They're excited. They think that their salvation's here, somebody's come to save them. As the horses get closer, they realize something's amiss. The older cowboy looks down at the younger one, scared, but doesn't want to show it. And the riders come, they dismount, they walk over to the younger cowboy, grab him by the hand, pull him up, and gracefully place him on top of the 12th horse. The older cowboy goes to protest, but his mouth is full of sand and his throat is too dry. The leader of the riders looks back and says, "It's not your time. We'll be back for you presently." With defeat and exhaustion, no will to fight, he passes out. He wakens later to the sound of hoofbeats. He sees that the storm has passed and his friends are standing over him trying to pour water down his throat. He's scared, but he knows he's alive. He goes to tell them about his young friend and looks down and sees his body sitting next to him. And he realizes the riders weren't there to save them. They were there to take them to the afterlife. With shame and guilt, he realizes that he didn't even know his young mate's name. And he decides then to honor his duty to the dead. And he buries him beneath that rock, beneath that tree, in an unnamed grave, marked only by a cross made out of horseshoes and surrounded by 11 white stones.
Once there was a boy. His name was Maximus. Now Maximus was a strange child. Maximus would be He was the type of boy who'd like to dream with his eyes open. And one day, as the teacher was giving his lecture, the teacher goes up to him and says, "Max, what is ever going in that head of yours?" And Max just looks at him and replies, "Oh, teacher, I'm just wondering what I'm going to do when I grow up." And the teacher just looks at him and says, "Max, you can't be worrying about yourself such things. You need to enjoy life, enjoy your childhood years. And when your teenage years come, you need to let them flow slowly. That way you can enjoy life." But Maximus could not understand what the teacher was trying to tell him. And so Maximus would be ice skating on a cold winter's day, and he'd be wondering what he wanted to do in spring. He wanted to fly his kite up in the neighborhood park. And then when spring would come and he'd be doing that, he would think what he wanted to do in the summer, put his toes in the warm, sandy beaches, and he would go off for a swim. In a few words, Max was the type of boy who, if you were to ask him what you would want in life, he would say, "I want time to go by fast." He had a classmate. Her name was Maria. She had beautiful brown hair, beautiful brown eyes, and always had a red glistening dress. And then he would look at her, she'd be running around in the playground, and he would think to himself, "One day, when I grow up, I'm gonna marry her. Why can't I be big already? I wanna grow up." This was a trifling thing for him. And so, one day, as he's finishing up an ice cream, sitting on his favorite park bench, suddenly, an old woman appears next to him with silver hair, with a caring face, and says, "Hello, Maximus. So, I hear you like to have time to go by fast." And Maximus says, "Yes, it's what I want in life." Says, "Well, I have this silver box." And the silver box had a golden string coming out of it, and says, "This box and this string represent your life. If you truly want time to go by fast, all you gotta do is pull from the string. A certain amount of string represents a certain amount of time that will go by. Just make sure, don't tell anyone about it, because if you do, you will die." And so he accepts the box, and the old woman disappears. And so, very happy, he puts the box in his pocket and goes home. The next day, during class, he's more distracted than usual. The teacher goes up to him again and says, "Maximus, what are you doing? You have your head up in the clouds again. You are sure to fail if you keep up with this." But Maximus was tired of hearing these things from his teacher, and so he decides to pull out the box, pulls a string, and suddenly the classes were over. He's running out the class, and he's very happy because he says, "Wow, this box actually works." And so Maximus would pull a little bit of a string every day. There wouldn't be a day where he wouldn't. And days go by, and he gets bored. So one day, he pulls the string a lot more. And he wakes up one morning, looks in the mirror, and he finds out he has a mustache. He looks in the mirror, he's like, "Wow." And he also comes to realize that he is an engineer. He has a job in the factory as a manager as well. He has his own house and his own car. And then, again, every day he would pull from that string. He would even pull the string so he can get his paycheck. And that's when he thought of Maria. He phones a couple of his friends and tracks her down. When he sees her, she's a beautiful, developed young lady. Her brown hair was longer than usual. It was more browner, more beautiful. Her eyes were the beautifulest things like gemstones. And he musters up the courage, gets on one knee and says, "Maria, will you marry me? For I have a good paying job. I have my own house, my own car." And Maria just smiles and says yes. And so they go out to tell the parents. And the parents just shake their head and say, "Oh, you guys barely know each other. You guys would have to wait a year at least, just so you can get to know each other. Then you can get married." And Maria just, with a sad, sad face, and Maximus just goes over to her, puts an arm around her and says, "Don't worry, Maria. The year will go by really fast." And so, thanks to the magic string, that year goes by fast. A month before the marriage, he gets a card in the mail. He has been drafted into the army. And so, Maximus, in tears, says goodbye to his family and friends, and especially Maria, who was crying more than him. And so, he goes off to the base, and he doesn't like this life. He doesn't like the food. He doesn't like getting up in the morning. And so he decides to pull so much from the box, he pulls so much string that he finds himself with a tuxedo at the altar of the wedding. It was a beautiful wedding. But then he realized, he saw his mother had gray hair. She was old. That was when he regretted everything he had done. From that day forth, he promised himself that he would not pull from the string. He kept this promise for a while, until one day Maria gave him the announcement that they were waiting on a baby. Waiting? This was not something Maximus didn't understand or quite want to do. And so again, he brings up the box and pulls from it. But he pulls so much out of it that he finds out, wakes up one morning, he has gray hair. He has two children, but these children are big. One's going in high school and the other one's in the university. Maximus regrets all these things. And so Maria goes up to him and says, I can't understand how we don't have any memories we can go out of, how we can remember. It feels like things have just gone so fast. And Maximus was like, yeah. And so Maximus, being old and decrepit, he sits on his favorite park bench when he was a child and sits there and takes a nap. And suddenly he hears someone calling his name, Maximus, Maximus. He finally opens his eyes, and it's the same old woman that gave him the box many years ago. And she says, hello, my dear Maximus. How's your life been? Did you find the happiness you wanted? No, I haven't. Thanks to that darn box, I went through life without care. I never really suffered, but now I realize that I have made a mistake. And now, Maximus, what do you want to do now? He says, I want to restart my life. I want to live it like a normal person. And so the old woman just tells him, well, if you truly want that, all you got to do is bring me back the box and everything will reset. And so Maximus agrees. He goes up to his house, looks all over the house for the box, to find out, with the horror in his face, that he had lost it. And once, from that moment on, he had to enjoy every little second he had with Maria left. Thank you.
Hello everyone. So today I'd like to take you back in time to when my grandmother was just a little girl. I'd also like to take you to another country, namely that of Peru, the highlands. The areas that were perhaps not as industrial, but to make up for that, there was miles of lush green land with wild animals, plants, and just beautiful for the eye to behold. Lovely place to grow up. Such was the area that my grandmother had lived in. Her name was Sophia. She lived a happy life with her parents and her siblings. But there was that one sibling, Edgar. Ooh, she couldn't stand him. Everything about him. Either he was condescending, or he was annoying, or just plain stupid. Couldn't stand watching him make a fool of himself in front of her parents. Yet, he was the older sibling, so he had all the rights. He could boss her around any way he wanted to, but she wasn't going to take that. So one day, when he was left in charge of the house, yet again, Sophie swore that she could take care of herself. She didn't need her brother. Stupid thing, can't even look after the pigs. But she submitted. She sighed, doing all her household chores just as she was supposed to. And when she was done, she finally sat in her corner, just enjoying the day, watching the birds fly by, until her brother just barges in. I examined your handiwork. What is this? Look, there's still dust over here. The pigs are still hungry. You haven't fed them well. Get back to work. Now, she swore she did all the work. What was her imbecile brother talking about? My goodness. But she went to go do the work, and suddenly she felt a very strange urge to go use the restroom. So she did so. Now, keep in mind, the restroom had recently moved locations because her parents decided to build a new one because the old one had a turkey infestation. Very problematic. Noted. So she went to the restroom, just sat there, thinking about how terrible of a creature her brother was and ways to get back at him, when suddenly, she felt something on her head. Uh-oh. And they thought the turkey infestation problem was gone. Turns out, the turkey just crapped on her head. But she knew better than to look up, or else she would be receiving a really nice facial that day. So she just sat even more, just such irritation, such anger. She didn't even know it was possible to feel that much anger at such a young age. But then she thought, See, I was smart enough not to look up, but perhaps my brother won't be. We should get him to use the restroom too. So she says, have you seen the new restroom, brother? Man, our parents did such a good job of renovating that thing. I'm so glad the turkey problem's gone. He said, oh, really? Well, that's good. Wait, what's that on your head? Oh, just a little bit of... I did some stall cleanup. Don't worry about it. I'll wash it out later. No, but seriously, you should go use the restroom. So he does. She watches because she's kind of a creepy little sister, but she does it because she just wants to see this revenge that she has cooked up. The turkey poop goes on her brother's head, but she waits for the moment, the coveted moment, for him to lift his face up to see what on earth has happened. And he does so. I knew it, my dumb brother. I don't know why my parents leave this thing in charge of the house. So when her parents get back, Sophie gleefully tells her parents about the incident with her brother. While they're amused at first, they look at her in disdain and say, so this is really what you thought about your brother? You thought he was just this dumb, unintelligent creature? First of all, you should have respect for your elders, Sophie. You know that. And second of all, perhaps your brother has seemed kind of spacey these days. Let me show you what he's been up to. So her parents pull out a bunch of papers. Sophie, being sarcastic, says, oh, so he finally decided to finish his kindergarten essays? But no. She reads them and looks closely and discovers these are job applications. He's finally deciding to get a job outside of the house so he can provide for his family, and realizes, wow, I don't think I could do that yet. So since the day she learned to develop a deeper respect for her brother, and regardless of how nonsensical his advice seems, or even if it's not even worth following, she should respect it because he is probably not as stupid as he seems, and he is an elder. Thank you.
So, there was a goddess by the name of MacLeod, and she was the ruler of the universe. Now she's kind of getting old, and she realizes she doesn't want to live her entire life ruling after a bunch of other people. Luckily, she has two sons, one by the name of Sagbada, and the other by the name of Sogbo. Sagbada is the oldest son, and Sogbo is the youngest, thinking this is going to be a great opportunity for them. They're going to be able to rule as brothers. It doesn't go the way she wants it to. Sagbada wants it all by himself. He feels like he's entitled because he's the oldest. Sogbo thinks that Sagbada just has this big old ego and he doesn't know what he's talking about, and Sogbo has it all like by himself. He's got it. Mawa looks at them and she's like, really? You're gonna do this right now? Really? I've worked so hard on this and you're gonna do this right here, right now. All right. So Sagbada, you're gonna rule the ground. That's your responsibility. Sogbo, you're gonna rule the sky with me since you're still the youngest. They don't like it, but they can't really say much because she's still the mama. So Sagbada takes his inheritance, and in the meantime, he also needs to grab fire and water with him. Well, he thinks about it for a second, and he says to himself, if I take water, it's going to soak up all of the treasure and the inheritance that I have, and then it's gonna be gone. So I can come back for that, it's no worries. But if I take fire, it's going to burn up the bag and all of the treasures and inheritance that I just got. So I can come back for that too, there's no worries. Thinking that this journey down to the ground is gonna be super simple and super easy, when really it's not. It's a long journey, and he doesn't want to do it again, or at least for a while. So he thinks, oh, we don't really need water, we don't need fire, we've got all this treasure, here we go. So he builds his empire, and he becomes the king for these people, and everything's going great. And in the meantime, Sogbo is up in the sky, kissing up to his mom and everybody around her, because he wants to be able to get away with a lot, like most younger siblings do. It works, she loves him, he's probably the favorite, and he realizes that he can get away with whatever he wants. So, to get back at his older brother for not letting him rule the universe all to himself, he cuts off rain. No water's going down to the ground anytime soon. But Sagbada, he's a little blinded by all of this treasure, so he doesn't think anything of it. until a year passes by and there's no rain. And the people are like, well, we gotta eat, nothing's growing, we're kind of shriveling away here. So they go and they bring it up to him and they tell him, and he's like, oh guys, don't worry about it, I got a feeling about this, it's gonna happen any moment. Another year passes by and there's still no water. And they're like, all right, that's funny now, can we figure this out? There's no water. Yeah, don't worry about it, it's coming, don't worry about it, I know. 3 years pass by and there's no water, and they're like, okay dude, you don't know, there's no water coming down here. And then these sky gods come down and they plan to plant these seeds of prophecy. And the people are like, you're not planting anything down here because there's no water coming down here. But they end up finding out that, shocker, there's no water coming down here. That's their prophecy. And so they all come together and they're like, dude, if you don't talk to your brother, like all hell's gonna break loose, okay? We're gonna riot, it's gonna be bad, you don't wanna stick around for it. So he's like, oh, okay, I should probably do something about this. So he sends for his younger brother's messenger bird named Watutu. He flies down and he's like, yeah, what do you need? What's going on? I haven't seen you in years. And he's like, yeah, do you think you could possibly talk to Sogbo about making it rain down here for us? And he's like, yeah, I could do that. It's just, he's gonna want the entire universe, no big deal or anything. And he's like, I don't really want to give him all of that. Can't you just kind of work him a little bit? He's like, I'll see what I can do. So he flies back up to Sogbo and he's like, it's kind of dry down there. People are dying. Nobody's eating. You think you could kind of make it rain a little bit? And he's like, yeah, I can make it rain for them, sure. But, I want the universe to myself. He's like, that's what I thought. Okay, so flies back down, tells them, yeah, couldn't break him. I tried really hard for you, but couldn't. He wants the entire universe to himself. And he's like, oh, I don't know if I want to give all that up. And then the people are like, no, you want to give all that up. Yes, you do. So he's like, oh, okay, yeah, we can do that, sure, fine, whatever. And so Watutu flies all the way back up and lets Sogbo know. He's like, yeah, he's totally cool with it. The universe is yours. Just give us some water. He's like, okay, go let him know that I'm going to give him some water. So on the way back down for like the third time, he couldn't even make it all the way down before a lightning bolt struck down to the ground and it started raining. And it's raining. Everybody's dancing in the rain. It's like The Notebook. Everybody's loving it. And Sogbot is like, yeah, this is good. I miss this. All right. And he deems Watutu to be a sacred bird, so nobody can kill this bird. This is their only source of communication right now. And Sogbata sends Watutu back up to thank his younger brother. Younger brother sends it back down to say, oh, you're welcome, anything for family. And they're kind of going through the motions of this. This is tweeting for them, by the way. Okay? So they realize, they miss each other, That's my brother. Let's do bro things again. Well, we never did bro things, but let's start. And so they develop a really good relationship with each other. And the mom's like, oh, my babies, I'm so happy. We're the universe together now. And Sogbo's like, yeah, we can do that, sure. Let's do that. So they decided to work together as brothers and rule the universe together.
All right, folks, my name is Michael Nonan, part of George Labercio's class, and I'm going to tell you a personal story. It goes a little something like this. Back in high school, I was a real sad stick in the mud. No, really, I was. Like literally, all I wanted to do was do my schoolwork, go home, eat, and sleep, and avoid people the next day. Apparently I was antisocial, whatever that means. But all that started to change when I knew this girl. She was kind, compassionate, a little weird, but compassionate. And a little secret, we were the best of friends. Like, interesting fact, she had short hair and always liked to dye it in different colors, like pink to blues to greens. It was madness, but it was fun. And we would always like to go to drama club together because, hey, we were theater nerds, big whoop. And sometimes go hang out by the library to talk about how our school day went, or just talk about anything. One day, I noticed the high school was promoting the winter dance, and a thought appeared in my mind. I wonder. So, feeling gutsy in the moment, I decided to buy 2 tickets and that I would ask the girl to be my date. So later that day, after rehearsal, I met up with her and I asked her in this fashion. So, the winter dance is coming up and would you like to come with me? Expecting a no, she actually said yes. Internally, I was like, ooh, yes. But externally, I was like, okay, cool. However, another thought hit me. What was I gonna do? I was too much of a play-by-the-rules kind of guy, a real stick-up. I mean, really, what was I gonna do? So when I got home, my parents sat me down, told me to take a breath, and simply gave this advice. Just be yourself. And I was like, you're not the one taking her to the dance, I am. Really. But as I learned to be a gentleman, like always, the dance came up and I dressed up in my, whole black suit and black tuxedo tie. And of course my parents called me Bond, James Bond. And of course, taking a single red rose, I got in my car and went to her house. When I got there, I was like nervous, I was shaking. But when the door opened, I saw a goddess in a light green dress with dark flower patterns on it. And I was like, oh. So I gave her the rose, we hugged, and the parents noticing this said, my Lord, you two are so adorable together. Can we have a picture of you? And I was like, sure. So we got the picture. I guaranteed them that the daughter was gonna be safe and have a fun time. And we went off on our little adventure. Arriving at the dance, I gave the people our tickets, entered the dance stage, and my friends, the guys, were all dressed in suits, obviously, and their dates were dressed in different colors of dresses. And they were like, wow, you actually did it. And internally I was thinking, oh sure, thanks for the vote of confidence. After that, we just boogied the night away. We listened to songs like, shut up and dance with me. And of course, something like, it's fun to stay at the YMCA. You know, songs like DJs like to put on, go figure. And throughout the dance, I tried doing moves like wave, robot, and, just moving my arms around. And every time I did it, I felt like I was embarrassing my dates. I mean, that's how serious I was back then. But every time I noticed her, she simply smiled at me and laughed. And my head finally processed what my parents said. Just be yourself. Because in order to be around others, they can accept you for your strengths and your weaknesses. Finally realized that. And in the perfect moment, the DJ put on Don't Stop Believing by Journey. Overdone, sure, but it's a classic, come on. And me and the girl got together and slow danced. But I started to notice her eyes. They were shining like the stars. Her smile warm as the sun. And her personality was pulling me in like gravity. And so, as the song slowly started to end, I decided to ask her a simple question. May I? She nodded yes, and we both kissed. And literally, I was on cloud 9 after that moment. Except the next song the DJ put on was, everybody clap your hands. I was like, DJ, my heart is racing at 100 miles per hour. I don't need any more hype as is. So I just went with it and, clapped the hands. And as the night grew in, everybody started to leave. And I looked at her and like, yeah, I think it's time for us to go. So I escorted her safely to the car because, traffic, big problem. And I got her to the house, walked her to the door, hoping that she had a good time. But she simply did this. She kissed me again, wished me a good night, and before she closed the door, she said she loved me. And after that, I was just like, ah. And as I was walking to the car, I stopped, and I realized something. All the sadness and despair that I was feeling in high school at the time, the void was filled. I felt complete inside. And for the first time, I could smile without a care in the world. Plus then I got in my car, drove home, opened the garage door, and entered the house. And what is the first thing my mother says to me? Well, did you kiss her? And so I only told her this: a gentleman never tells. Hope you liked it. Thank you.
There once was a rich daigam who had 3 strapping sons, but he really wanted a daughter, so he prayed, and soon his wife blesses her with a beautiful baby girl. The years pass, and she grows up to be strong and courteous and kind, and when she's about 6 years old, she goes into the forest as she usually does to go find flowers and mushrooms. However, she doesn't return by sundown, and a father, in a frenzy of worry, gathers all the servants of the castle to go look for her, and they search all night. It is only with the coming day that he sees a small figure walk out of the fog of the forest. He rides up to her on his horse. "Thank goodness we found you. We've been searching all night. Where have you been?" She kind of looks up to him. "Oh, Father. Oh, yes, I must have gotten lost. Good to see you, Father. Good morning. Let's get you home. Let's get you home." Picks her up, puts her on the back of the horse, and they start riding home. And he turns back and says, "So, did you find any mushrooms at least for all the trouble?" "Mushrooms? Oh, yes, mushrooms. I must have dropped them in my fright." They return home, and everything's fine for the rest of the evening, until the castle is woken up by the sound of an ox dying. They all rush to see what's wrong with this poor animal as it screams in its death. Nothing seems amiss except the gaping hole in its side and the void where a liver should be. Well, the daigam, 1 ox is not a problem. It's probably foxes or something. 15 oxen, however, that's a problem. And at this point, he was starting to lose clout with the other lords of the area. So he sent his eldest son to go watch the herd, see what's been plaguing it. Is it foxes? Is it wolves? What is it? So the eldest son waits for nightfall, and it's about midnight, and he sees a little light coming across the field. And it seems okay, I'm watching. And it's his sister. Well, little girls do weird stuff all the time, so he watches her approach the couch. She's got this little tray and with a dish of sesame oil and a candle, and she's humming a song. And he's like, "Oh, she's just probably gonna sing to the cows. Girls." Oh. Well, he watches as she puts down the tray, rolls up the sleeves of her handbag, dips her hands in the sesame oil. It's like, okay, this is weird. Says a little prayer to herself, and then she primes herself like this. And he's like, "What? What's going on?" The ox is now screaming in pain. She reaches in, claws replacing her fingers, rips out its liver, unhinges her jaw, and shoves it in her mouth whole. The brother says nothing as he's watching this horror. She closes, wipes the blood off of her face, and then skips back into the castle. He goes straight to his father after this, and he says, "I know you're not going to believe this, but it was the sister. It's our sister. It's been our sister this entire time." And the father, "That's very funny. Now please tell me what happened. Was it foxes or was it wolves?" "No, Father, I swear it was her." If you tell another lie in my house again, I will banish you and you will be disinherited. Father, please believe me, it was her. He was banished. His father would not hear anything from them after. Well, the next night, the father sends his second eldest, thinking that, hey, it was probably, the brother's probably jealous of his sister, so we'll send the middle child. And the same thing happens. And the middle child tells the father the same thing. He disinherits the second child and banishes him. The younger brother, however, catches wise to that and sees what has happened, sees that it's the sister doing these terrible things, but instead of telling the truth, he tells his father, it was just a bunch of foxes. I saw them and they left, and the father was relieved that finally the truth was told to him. Well, the two brothers that were banished and disinherited, they wandered the world begging, and soon that begging turned to stealing. And one night, as they were trying to steal from a local monastery, the monks said, hey, you guys don't have to steal anymore. Why don't you become monks? So they become monks, and years pass at the monastery until they hear a message from their family's land. There's been an emergency. The father is sick, and the young brother, he's nowhere to be found. So the two brothers go to the eldest monk and they tell us, we have to return home, it's family business. And the oldest monk is like, all right, let me pack your bags for you. And he packs their bags and sends them on their way on two strong horses. So they reach home and they find that their land has drastically changed. What was once lush paddies are now caked mud flats. There are skeletons of cows and oxes and horses and people littered all around the castle grounds. So they reach to the door, and who's there to greet them but their sister? So they're a little suspicious. But as soon as she sees them, she breaks down. Oh, thank goodness you're home. Thank goodness you're home. I was losing my mind trying to wait for you. And their hardness melts. This is their sister, not the demon that they had saw on those nights so long ago. So they go in, and they ask, so where's father? And she slides the door open. He's right there, and there they saw him, shallow breathing, sweating, looking deathly ill. And so they say, well, we'll go looking for the younger brother immediately. And she's like, no, please, it's been so long since we've seen each other. Have a meal with me before you do anything else. Rest a while. So they agree, and she has prepared this beautiful meal. They start eating, and it's delicious. However, they had been living on monk's rations for quite a few years, so anything tastes better than that. But as they were enjoying the meal, something was a little off, and they couldn't really enjoy all of the meal, for they had fallen asleep in it. The eldest brother wakes up to a sound that no one would want to hear. He rolls over and sees something that only haunted his dreams. The sister, John Hinged, eating the liver of the middle child. She looks over coyly and says, oh, I see the poison is wearing off a little faster with you. No matter, you'll be next. And finally I can return to a human form. And as she said that, like a beautiful, pristine white fan, 9 tails bloom out from behind her, and little ears popped out of her hair. Suffice it to say, the oldest brother bolts. He gets out of the castle, and he gets on his horse, and he's out of there. The fox demon, the Kumio, as she is now revealed to me, chases. And the gap is quickly closing. So he reaches into his back, trying to find something to fix this, something to keep by in time. He pulls a green vial out, and I can't use this, throws it behind him. But as soon as it shatters, a wall of thorns bursts out of the ground. And the fox gets tangled up in it. And he keeps running. But soon, the fox breaks free. He reaches into his bag again. This one's blue. He throws it behind him, and he feels just a spray of water as water comes rushing out of the ground where it hits, covering the fox, hopefully finally slowing it down, not so much as he hears a splash out of water as it howls out. Wet, dripping, wet. He keeps riding, and he knows that if he doesn't stop soon, the horse will die of exhaustion. Reaches into his bag a third and final time, pulls out a red potion, throws it behind him. The hair on the back of his neck singes for the wall of fire that bursts from the ground after that. And finally, the fox is stopped, and he hears its howling pains, both fox and both human, as it howls in its death. He watches it burn, and he watches it burn until he knows that this fox is finished. He turns around, rides back to his family's castle to rebuild the fortune his father once had.
It was 1960. It was a small town deep in southern Mexico, carved out of the jungle. There was this woman that lived in this town. Her name was Angelita. And Angelita had 9 brothers and sisters, and her father had passed away 6 years ago. She was 16. Angelita was about 4'10" on a good day. She had long black hair. She was dark skin, dark eyes, very beautiful. And she had a neighbor. Her neighbor's name was Cecilio. Cecilio lived behind her, and there was a fence separating them. And Cecilio was about 5'11", long curly blonde hair, piercing blue eyes. Kind of the opposite of Angelita. And Angelita really loved to sing. Angelita would go out back and do her chores, and she was always singing. And Cecilio would hear her sing. And he loved her singing, because she sang so beautifully. And she was always singing, no matter what she was doing, whatever she was doing, she was always singing. And sometimes he'd go out back just to hear her sing. Like if she was singing, he'd be out there listening. But they didn't interact much because they were on different streets. They knew of each other, but they didn't interact much. You know, who's behind her? And one day, Angelita, her friends took her to a dance in the little town square. Now, Angelita was shy. She didn't talk much, so she didn't know how to dance. But she went to dance anyway. And all her friends went to dance, and she sat down at the table by herself, and she was just watching. But she was happy, because she had never seen it. She thought it was cool. She was watching everybody dance. And in the middle of the dance floor, she sees Cecilio. And Cecilio is dancing with a pregnant woman. And she thinks to herself, oh, I guess he must be married. All right, cool. So later on, as the night goes on, Cecilio goes up to her. And he's by himself. And he goes, Angelita, would you dance with me? And you know, in her head, she's thinking, oh, I can't dance with a married man. So she's like, no, I'm sorry, thank you. And he goes, well, come on, please. He kind of insists, and she doesn't. He's like, all right, I guess. He leaves. It was his cousin. She was pregnant. A couple months later, Angelita's with her little sister, Tefel. Tefel is 12. And they're gonna go wash clothes. Now, Angelita's family was very poor. They didn't have a washing machine or a car. They didn't even have horses or donkeys. They were poor. So they got all the dirty laundry and they put it in their baskets. And they made their way to the river. They started making their way to the river. It was a couple miles away. And Cecilio saw Angelita and Tefo making their way to the river, so he's like, so he goes, he had a little bit more money. So he goes, he gets his wagon, he hitches up his 2 horses, and he runs down the road. Goes, finds them. You guys want to ride? I'll give you guys a ride to the river. And they're like, oh yeah. So, you know, they put their baskets in the wagon, go down to the river. And he's talking to Angelita, chatting her up. Then out of nowhere, he reaches into his shirt. Now his shirt was like kind of like a sarape, like it was loose. He reaches into his shirt, pulls out a revolver, and he points it right at Angelita's face. you're coming with me. Angelita, she froze. She was terrified. And Tefo started crying and he told her again, you're coming with me. She couldn't move. So, being small, he grabbed her and threw her over his shoulder like a sack of potatoes. Started walking off into the jungle. And Tefo followed him for about 5-10 minutes, crying, my sister, please, please, what are you doing, what are you doing? So finally he got tired of it. He was just ignoring her, but he got tired of it. He turns around, points the revolver right at Tefo's head, and he goes, if you don't tell her to shut up and leave me alone, this is where she dies. And Angelita finally snapped out of it. Tefo, go home, go home, go home. Tell my mom, tell my brothers, go home, go home. So she runs home. She runs all the way home. And she tells her mom, she tells her brothers, and her brothers were furious. They were up in arms. They all grabbed their guns. They were going to go kill Cecilio's family. Because that's how things were solved back then. But Doña Paula, their mom, she saw them, that they all had their guns and what they were going to do. She stopped them. She said, you know what? You guys aren't killing anybody. There will be no blood on the hands of my children. So they didn't. They listened to their mother. They didn't do anything. And for 3 months, nobody knew anything about Angelita or Cecilio. They weren't seen. No one happened. But in 3 months, they came down from the jungle, back into town, and Angelita was pregnant. And her brothers saw, and they were furious. And they got their guns again, and they were gonna go kill Cecilia. And Doña Paula, their mom, stopped them. You will not kill anybody. There will be no blood on the hands of my children. So she stopped them. And she went to go talk to Angelita, and she said, Angelita, you're getting old, and I have 9 mouths to feed. And it's hard, and Cecilio has money, so you're gonna marry him. And she did. She was married to Cecilio for 25 years before he was killed. And she had 9 children with him. Now, if I go up to my grandma today, and I ask her, did you ever love my grandpa? She'll kind of get a faraway look. Say, well, he gave me 9 children, and I love them. That's all she'll say.
My favorite town is the town of Stoll, Kansas. Many a soul have I taken in the town of Stoll. Everyone should know the rumors of Stoll and the evil that lurk within its borders. Stoll, Kansas seems like your normal, peaceful little town with a handful of residents and just a few buildings. But if you believe the rumors, then you will see that Stoll is anything but peaceful. For you see, Stoll, Kansas is actually one of the 7 gateways to hell. The legend regarding Stoll goes like this. Somewhere within the tiny, run-down Stoll cemetery is a set of stairs hidden by a seal that only opens on Halloween and the spring equinox. And if you should find these steps, you must never descend them, for if you do, you will never return. But beyond the steps to hell, the Stoll Cemetery is quite an evil place. The focal point of this evil being a crumbling, dilapidated church. This church had no ceiling, but if it rained, the rain would never fall inside. Witches and occult groups would use this church to practice their dark ceremonies. And if you held 2 bottles as an inverted cross, you could not break them against the walls of the cemetery. The cemetery was bulldozed a few years ago without the consent of the landowners. Nobody knows who bulldozed the cemetery or why they chose to do so. Also within the cemetery was an impossibly tall pine tree that had grown through a tombstone, cracking it in half. This pine tree was also cut down to dissuade thrill seekers. No one knows who cut down the pine tree, only that it was cut down a day before Halloween. It was said that they used to hang witches in that tree, and that the tree, along with the church, would lead the way to the mystical steps to hell. But Stoll, Kansas itself is just a cursed place. In the 1900s, there were several incidents which occurred that just proved that Stoll is dark and evil. One of these incidences that occurred was a father who accidentally burned his son to death. Another incident that happened was a man was found hanging from a tree. Both of these happened near a road known as Devil's Road, which appears on old maps of Stoll, but actually no longer exists today. As you can see, Stoll, Kansas has had a long history of mysterious deaths and associations with the Dark Prince. Today, it is said that mysterious people guard Stoll from disturbances. Stories abound of people being chased by pickup trucks, some having been chased for over 20 miles. This just proves that something is going on in Stoll that someone wishes to hide.
He never paid much attention to the neighbors on his city street until one day, a beautiful woman, middle-aged, widowed, moved in 2 doors down. She was plump, dark, with eyes that glowed, but she wore black gloves on both her hands. Now, he didn't care. He bumped into her every day, and they would talk for hours on the city streets. One day, she moved a piece of hair from her forehead, and he caught a glimpse of gold under her glove. He was intrigued and asked her about it. She smiled, and she told him how a couple years ago she had lost that right hand, but a gold one took its place. At that moment, he was filled with lust, not to possess the woman herself, but to possess the gold hand. So he courted her. He sent her gifts, sent her flowers, took her to the theater. He filled her with so much love and affection that it won her heart. Within a month, they were under the altar, saying their wedding vows, happy as could be. Within another month, he himself was a widow. He buried his ailing wife in a local cemetery, but without her gold hand. He thought to himself, it was so easy, slowly poisoning her, making people think that she was dying of some rare disease. And nobody, not the wife, not even the wife's doctor, ever suspected him of murder. The day after his wife's funeral, he took that gold hand and he placed it under his pillow and he fell asleep. Now that night was cold, dark. The moon was barely showing through the clouds. A cold chill went down the chimney. When boom, the doors flung open and wind came whirling in, knocking over books and scattering papers all around. The man jumped from bed, his heart pounding. He looked around and he saw a glow coming toward him. And he looked at this glow. He's still shaking. He couldn't move. It came closer and closer. A woman appeared. As he stared at this woman, he noticed that she was missing a hand. And he thought to himself, no, this could not be. But he couldn't speak. And the woman looked at him and she said, "You stole my gold hand." And he still couldn't speak. His mouth was dry. His hands were shaking. He did not know what to do. He didn't know what to say. He looked around the room trying to wake up, but he didn't. She muttered again, "You stole my life. You stole my gold hand. Give me my gold hand." He was so scared. He pushed himself back against his pillow, and as he did, he felt the gold hand. And it moved. He turned, he looked at the hand, and he turned back, and he looked at the figure, and the figure came toward him and pushed him further into the pillow, and he tried to gasp, but he couldn't. As the hand twitched, he couldn't breathe. He wanted to scream. And right before he did, his world went black. Now, the next day, the maid came in. And she saw the mess in the house, and she went to the bedroom to check on the man, and she found him dead with this gold hand wrapped around his neck.
So this story takes place when I was about 5 years old, and the only reason why I remember it is because it was a very impactful day. Let's just say I've never had the greatest luck, and I'm pretty clumsy. I can trip over the sidewalk when I'm walking, and I tend to trip over my own feet. Not the best, but here it goes. So one day, me and my mom went to the mall, and she wanted to go and buy clothes. And I told her, I was like, "I don't want to go. Can we go home?" And she was like, "No, we're going to go get ice cream afterwards." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Ooh, sprinkles, yes. And so we're walking, we're going through the stores, and I'm seriously so bored out of my mind. And I just kept telling her, "I want to go home. I want ice cream. Where's my ice cream? I want ice cream." She kept ignoring me, and she was like, "Monique, stop." So while we were walking out, I saw this really shiny thing, and I don't know, I just saw it, and I was like, "Want?" So I went running towards it, and my mom was like, "Monique, don't!" And bottle, it was the glass all the way from top to ceiling, and as soon as I hit it, I just went down. I started crying, because it really hurt. That was clean glass, okay? I don't know how they got it that clean, but it was super clean. And it really, really hurt. So I was crying, and I was like, "Mom," and she was like, and she just looked at me. She just walked away. I was like, "Mom." So we kept walking, and again, I was really bored, and we passed by the puppy store, and I was like, "Mom, puppies, I wanna go. She was like, "No, you're not going." And I was like, "Why?" And she was like, "Because they stink." And I was like, "Mom." So she's inside the store shopping, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm sneaky. I'm gonna sneak off, and I'm gonna go into the puppy store." And she's not gonna know. She's gonna have to follow me, right? Because that's what parents do. So I start sneaking away, and I'm carefully going, and she's and I'm thinking, "Oh, I'm in the clear. I'm about to go in." And all of a sudden I hear, "Monique!" And I turn, and I see her, and she's just staring. She's mad, and I turn to run, and bam! I hit a damn pole. So again, I fall, and I'm crying, and I'm like, "Ah!" And she just walks up to me. She just looks at me. She doesn't even say anything. She just walks away again. I'm like, "Mom!" So I go after her again, and I'm like, "I want ice cream." So she's trying on clothes, and at this point, I'm throwing a little fit by myself in the damn corner, I don't be here. And eventually, I was like, "I'm gonna play hide and seek with her. She doesn't want to play with me. I'm gonna play with her though. It's okay." So I hid in a clothes rack, And I'm laughing to myself because I'm like, she's never gonna find me. Ha 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 ha. I'm awesome at this game. And I'm hiding, and I can see her through the clothes, and all of a sudden she like starts like turning around, and she's like, Monique, Monique, Monique. And like she like you could see like you could hear her voice, but I was laughing. I was like, ah, she's not finding me. The thing is, things got a little bit escalated. I was having the time of my life laughing at her while hiding in the clothes. But she started screaming and running in and out of the store. The mall security got called. They called the real police. The police came. My mom called my nana, and I could hear my nana on the phone because she was kind of standing next to me. My nana lived like 30 minutes away from the mall, and I swear to God, she got there in like 2 minutes. Oh man, she was like flipping out. She was grabbing my mom. She was shaking my mom. What do you mean you lost her? What do you mean? She's running around. They're both going crazy. And I'm laughing, and finally I'm like, okay, I'm gonna come out now. And I'm like, you found me! And my mom, the look on my mother's face, ooh, I could tell you I didn't get ice cream that day. Oh man, okay, so I don't even know what happened. I don't know what happened to the police. I don't know what happened to anything. I just remember my mom grabbing me. She like took me, I got into so much trouble. I didn't have ice cream for like a month. I was super pissed. I was like, this is a bear, I was playing. And she was like mad. The thing is, when I got older, eventually I realized, I was like, oh, I know what I did now. I should probably not do that. But because of that, my mom thought that it would be a good idea to buy me one of those little backpacks that have the leash on them. So I had to wear it until I was like 7. So if we went somewhere, she would be there like holding the damn leash, and she wouldn't let me go anywhere, and she'd be like, nope. And she like literally she would pull me if I tried to walk away. And then when I turned 7, I would try to like unlatch it. So then she started putting it on backwards, so I couldn't unlatch it. And it was just really annoying, but I was happy though at the same time because it was a monkey and I love monkeys, and it was a little brown monkey. So it was like a little backpack, and I would have snacks in its head, so like but it was pretty bad. Finally, like my mom eventually let me slowly get off the leash, literally. And it was kind of okay, but I like realized I was like, ooh, from that day on I was like, I need to pay attention and listen to my mother. But then came the teenage years, and that's an entirely different story.